piece of art, I have an inspiration. And today's inspiration is an actual castle called, I'm going to show you a picture here, called Neuschwanstein Castle. And this is an amazing castle in southern Germany. And it is actually the inspiration for Disney's castle. So in all their parks, they use this as inspiration. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a castle today. And I know not everyone has a stock of art supplies at home, so we're just going to use whatever you have on hand. This is the largest paper I had today. I wish it was a little bit bigger, but this is what we're going to use, okay? So a piece of paper and a pencil would be great. I'm going to use a Sharpie so that you can see what I'm doing on camera because the pencil is just a little bit too light to show up, okay? So I'm going to give you a second to gather your pencils and your paper. You can use a crayon if you want. A marker would be fine, although you won't be able to erase, but sometimes that's even better, okay? All right, so Remco is going to post a link to Neuschwanstein Castle in the comments so that you can read about it after we're done with our drawing, okay? All right, we're going to get started. So I have my piece of paper here, and I'm going to start towards the bottom, and I want to be really careful not to go too small because we want our castle to take up the entire page, but we're going to start with simple shapes first, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a line, and I'm going to make 2 dots. If I start with dots first, especially if you're using a marker, then you can kind of see the space that you're going to use before you commit to an entire line. Okay, so I'm going to use my 2 dots. And I'm going to connect them in the center with an arch. And that's going to be the entrance to our castle. Okay? Now I'm going to take those corners up. And again, I'm going to do a dot. And then I'm going to come over here and do another dot. And make sure they're even first. And then I'm going to connect those dots to the bottom of the castle. All right? So now we almost have a square. I'm going to leave that open for now, though, because we want to do a little detail down here first. So this is going to be our gate, our opening to our castle. And now I'm going to continue on to the sides. I'm going to leave this open because we're going to add some detail here, but we want to get our general shapes in first. Okay, I'm going to do a line on either side of my castle, just like that. And I'm going to do another little line just below. Okay? All right. Now what I'm going to do is another square that I'm going to take even farther down because our castle is going to be on a hill. I'm going to take this towards the end of the page. So now I have a U, just like that. And I'm going to complete it as a square. Okay, let me know if I'm going too fast in the comments. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to flare out my little square just like that, almost like a box is opening. And then I'm going to create another line over the top to connect those. Now I'm going to do the classic castle shape at the top with our little, I think it's called a dental pattern because it's almost like teeth. And we're going to go all the way across, just like that. Okay? So now you can see that it's starting to look like a castle. And it's going to look a little weird because this one is higher than this one, but I'm going to explain that in a little while. Okay? So now what you can do is we can add a little house shape right up here. And this is going to be the church's, or I'm sorry, the castle's chapel or church. Because most of the time a castle has a chapel inside. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to give it a little round window up at the top. Okay, and we're going to come back to that with more detail in a minute. All right. Now what I want to do is I want to connect my square to my castle entrance. And I'm going to pull this bottom out as well. Okay, now, right now our castle is floating, but Neuschwanstein Castle is up on the top of a hill. Okay, so we want to make it look like it's on the top of a hill and that it's surrounded by, let's see if you can see that, trees. So when you look up Neuschwanstein Castle with the link, if you follow the link, you'll see that it's at the very top of the hill and it's forest all around. And beyond, it's just hills and hills of forest. Okay, so we are going to give that effect by creating some tree shapes. And these are kind of like cloud shapes. You can make them as big or as little as you want. Okay, so they're just little bumps that are all connected. Okay, almost like a cloud at the bottom. But we're going to make these look like trees when we color them, right? Because we can make these green, we can make them fall colors. Definitely not winter, right? Because they're full of leaves right now. All right, so we're going to continue our castle. You'll see I stopped here so that I could make this part of the tree a little bit bigger, because anytime we have overlap, then it shows distance. So now we can see that these trees are in front of the castle because the castle is going to go behind that bump of tree. Okay? All right, I'm going to do my next line. I'm going to make this one a tall one. Okay, just like that. We can make it taller if we want, but I'm going to leave it like that for now. Give you a second to do that. All right. So we're going to do our next line. Now, what I'm trying to do is stagger any horizontal lines that I do. So horizontal means it's going in this direction, just like the horizon, right? If we look at a sunset, we see the earth going left to right, and then the sun is going down behind that, right? Now, a vertical goes up and down. So this is a vertical line, okay? But right now we're going to talk about our horizontals. So my horizontals, anytime I do a horizontal line, I want to stagger them a bit. I don't want them to be all lined up on my castle. So now my next horizontal, I'm going to do a little bit higher than this guy here and a little bit higher than these. So I'm going to go across, okay? Now this is going to look a little bit like a balcony. So we're going to bring that down so that we have a rectangle behind our tree, right? And now we're going to do just like we did here. We're going to angle out just a little bit, like half an inch. And then we're gonna go across to meet that angle. All right, now we're gonna do our dental pattern. Again, so I'm gonna come up, I'm gonna go across, back towards the castle. And it's okay if these aren't perfectly sized, okay? Because this is an old castle, so it's okay if it's a little wonky, right? We may have even lost a few bricks here and there over the years. All right, now I'm going to come in with a new vertical, right, up and down line. And this one's going to be a little bit shorter. And it's going to go right down into that dental pattern. And then we're going to complete the rectangle by going across and meeting the castle. All right, now we're going to do a horizontal line up, but we're going to make it a little bit larger. Okay, and then I'm going to go across and complete that shape there. We're going to go up another 3/4 of an inch maybe, depending on the size of your paper. And what we want to do is a dental pattern to this edge. Okay, so I'm going to do a vertical here first. And I'm probably going to fit maybe 3 teeth into this little space. So 1, 2, 3, just like that, okay? Now this is the side of our castle. So you can imagine, right, if this is up on a hill, that you could stand up here and look at the beautiful view beyond. Okay, so these are our two little balconies. All right, we're gonna come back to the center of our castle so that we can complete that and you can see how it's supposed to look. We're gonna go up just a little and make sure our sides are even. And the thing about Neuschwanstein Castle is the very front of it has a step pattern. Okay, so it looks like stairs going up to a peak in the middle, right? So I'm gonna find my center. I'm gonna say my center is right there, so it's right above the arch, okay? And now I'm gonna do my stair step on either side. So I'm gonna do my center line first. And let's see how many stairs we get. I'm just winging it, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's take that all the way across for 5. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I'm gonna give you a second to get your stairs in. Okay, so you can see we're doing general shapes here, but at the end, when everything's filled in, then we can start adding a lot of detail to this. Okay, and then you'll have a really cool coloring page. So if you take a break from your lessons later, you can color it in with crayon or marker or colored pencil, anything that you have on hand. All right, we're gonna do the next step. I wanna add a little detail right about here, but I want to kind of measure things out first. So I'm just gonna do a little pencil line here. So I'm leaving an even space, maybe 2 fingers on this side and 2 fingers on this side. And then I did a light pencil line just so I make sure that what I'm gonna do next looks centered. So I'm gonna do a U shape here and a U shape on the opposite side, just like that. So now it almost looks like a face, right? We have 2 eyes and a mouth. Okay, I'm gonna give you a second to do that. All right, now I'm gonna give my little eyelids. I'm gonna go across with 2 lines, and I'm slightly curving these. Just a slight curve. And now I'm gonna do a dental pattern at the top of each of these. Now our dental pattern here is gonna be really tiny. So 3 teeth. All right, how does that look? Okay. Okay, now the easy part. I am going to, under my eyelids, I'm gonna do a horizontal line, and I'm gonna do another, just like that. And now at the top of those 2 lines, I'm gonna do a dental pattern connecting my 2 eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, just like that. All right, now from our eyes, we're gonna do a vertical line from the center of each all the way down to the bottom of our castle. Just like that, okay? I'm gonna do a little detail up here before we move on. So I think what I'm gonna do is give our stairs a little bit of a thickness. So I'm gonna start at the top and I'm gonna give them a thickness or almost like a border all the way down, just like that. Now I'm gonna do it on the other side. Perfect. So now it's starting to look like a castle. Okay, we have our main entrance, we have our turret starting over here, but I want to add several more so that this really climbs into the sky. Okay, so what we want to do first is a large turret here. So I'm going to start right let me see, where do I want to start? I want to start here. I'm going to start on the edge of this left little portion of the building. And I'm going to start right on the edge, and I'm going to try and make this a nice straight line up. It's a little bit angled, that's okay. And I'm going to go across. Now, we don't want it to be too thick. We want to end kind of in the middle of this side of the church, okay? I'm going to take that line down, and it's okay if you angle it out a little, right? Because these turrets may be a little thicker at the bottom than they are at the top for stability. And then the same thing we did down here, we angled out before we did our dental pattern. So we're going to do that again. But we're going to make our angles a little bit taller, just like that. Okay? So now I want to do a rise. I'm going to go up on either side, and I want to do my dental pattern in between. Here we go. 1, 2. All right. And again, don't worry if it's not perfect. I'm going to get a new Sharpie here. Okay. Let's do another one very similar to that on this left side. You want to make sure you're inside the building. So we're going to go just like that. We want it to be shorter, and I'm going to make it a little bit wider. So a little squattier than the first, just like that. Okay, and again, we're going to do the verticals angling out, just like that, and across. And then we're going to do our dental pattern at the top again. I'm going to go up and across. All right, so now we're going to do the fun part that every princess castle should have, right? We're going to do the little peak at the top of each of these, almost like an upside down ice cream cone to top it off. Okay? Now I think these are pretty tall, but I think I want to do one more here. Okay? So I'm going to have one more come up, and I'm going to be really careful not to have that line land right on the peak or the point. Okay? So I'm going to have one more turret up here. Okay, you can see how tall that is because it's behind these two. These two are overlapping it. They're hiding part of it. Okay, I'm going to fan out. And now the dental pattern up at the top. A little squishy there. And now our upside down ice cream cone. And I'm going to make that one a little bit taller because it's way up at the top. All right. Now we're going to do similar over on this side. Okay? But first, we are going to do the top of our entrance to our castle. Okay, so I'm going to add a little detail here. Just like that. Okay, and you can notice these horizontals are not lining up, so they're all staggered, and that adds more detail and makes it look a little more dimensional. Okay? All right, let's add a really nice turret here. We're going to make that one as tall as we can. This one's pretty tall, so we're going to go almost to the top of the page with this one. All right? Now, what I want to do is I'm going to do the left side of this turret. Let's see. This one's here, so I'm going to go to there. Okay. But on the right side, I want to have a little one attached to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a vertical. You can see it's above here. Okay, it's centered almost between the top of this little balcony and the top of my line. I'm going to come out and I'm going to do a long rectangle, just like that. And then I'm going to do my flare out, my dental pattern, and then my peak. Okay. My last step is to pull this down just a bit and end up on that line. Okay, so this little turret is attached to this very large one. So we're going to come up to the top now of our big turret, and we're going to do the same thing we've done to all the others. So we're going to do our flare out first. Just like that. And we'll do our dental pattern. Oops. And then we're going to do our peak, and we're going to try and make that one a little taller than this one on the left side. I'm going to stand up so I can reach it. Just like that. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to build a little more detail here on the right side. I'm going to come out just like that, and then I'm going to come straight down. Do a second line here, a horizontal, and then I'm going to do my dental pattern one more time. This is probably our last dental pattern of our castle. Oh, okay. We had to pull that one out just a little. Okay, I'm going to do a little balcony here. And a little railing if you'd like. Just like that. All right. Last part of our castle is our main building right in the center. Okay? Now, we're going to do the bottom of the roof line, and I want to kind of figure out with my finger where I want that to sit, because I don't want it to line up with any other horizontal in the picture, right? So I'm going to put it about there. Just like that. Now I didn't go all the way to the edge, okay? So you have a little bit of a gap here. Okay, now what I want to do is take that all the way down to the front of the castle. Okay, we're almost done. I'm going to connect this new building with my turret on the left with a little bridge or balcony going across, just like that. And now I'm going to give it a roof. So I'm going to extend this line just a bit. Oop, that got a little crazy. Just like that. Okay. And then I'm going to slant up and across. All right. One more thing. I'm going to do one little extra balcony up at the top. Okay, so on either side of my tallest turret, just adding almost like a box shape. So it's a square with a lid on it, right? On either side. And I'm careful not to go through my turret that's already there. And then I'm going to angle down, and across, and then straight down. All right, now that that's done, it's time for our little details. So if you're happy with this and you'd like to stop now, you can absolutely do that. The only thing we're missing, if this were a real castle, are our windows. So we want to add those, and then we'll add a little background and then little details onto every portion of our castle to make it look a little more realistic, okay? All right, so I'm going to start with my background. I'm going to add a few layers of mountains. So I'm going to add some in the background here, just like that. And this will have our castle come forward, and then our but our mountains will move back in the background. So it'll give our image more depth. Just like that. All right, now I'd like to add a moon because this is Neuschwanstein at night. Now, I'm gonna try and make a circle on the first pass. Let's see if that works with my Sharpie. I want you to try and hover over the page and draw that circle before you commit to your line, right? So just kind of make a circle shape with your hand. So instead of going like this and trying to make it with your fingers, I want you to make it with your whole arm, okay? Let's see. There we go. So there's our little wonky moon. All right, ready for windows? Let's do windows. All right, first thing I'm gonna do is add some little angled windows up here at the top. So maybe these are windows or supports to our castle turret. And I'm gonna add some vertical lines that flare with the angle of my shape. So all of these angles that we did at the top of our turrets under our dental pattern, we're gonna do these vertical lines that flare out at the ends to meet those angles. Okay, we're gonna do it to each one. So take a couple minutes to do that. We have our little baby one here. I'm gonna do it to his base as well. Just like that. Let's see. Okay, I think that, let's do one more here. Okay, now windows. We're just gonna do an arch at the top and a horizontal line at the bottom. So I know you all know what castle windows look like, and we're gonna stagger those down our turrets. Now a lot of times these will go at an angle because there's a spiral staircase inside of our turret. So those windows will run along the spiral staircase, okay? So we're gonna give that illusion by lining up our little windows at angle. Okay, we're gonna give our little turret a larger window. And if you want, when we're done here, you can draw Rapunzel with her hair dangling out of one of these windows. Okay, I added some square windows here, some rectangular windows. All right, now I'm gonna go to my left side and do the same. All right, I'm gonna give a horizontal detail here on this turret, just like that. And I'm gonna do 3 arched windows on this one here. Okay, let's also do 3 on our little chapel. I'm gonna do one in the center. And if your picture is big enough, you can do a little stained glass pattern inside of each of those, which would be really pretty with color. All right, what do we have? Oh, let's do our roof up here. Let's do a little detail on the top. And we'll do some scallops underneath that edge. just like that. Now, do you all know what a waffle pattern is? Think of a waffle cone or a waffle that you eat for breakfast. We're gonna do a waffle pattern on our roof. Okay, so just evenly spaced angles, as evenly as you can make them. Just like that. And then we're gonna go the opposite direction. So you almost make like a checkerboard. Okay? Okay, one, I think we're almost done. I'm gonna do a horizontal here. And just above that, I'm gonna do a little balcony. With 3 windows. All right, let's do a little swirly detail at the top of our castle entrance. Just like that. Everything's very horizontal and vertical, so add a little variety of line inside the castle. All right, let's do our detail around our castle entrance, and we're gonna kind of do similar to our stair steps here at the top, but we're just gonna do 1 step, just like that. We're gonna do a little swirl there as well. What am I missing? Oh, let's do a doorway or a window on either side. All right, I'm gonna do a similar waffle pattern on my gate that is open in my little entrance to the castle here. And I'm giving my waffle pattern a little thickness. So each one of these lines is a double line. Just like that, and I've overlapped the bottom so it looks like that gate can come down. All right, one more thing. I'm gonna do a little bit of brick on this guy here. All right, now I'm gonna draw 1 brick, just like that. May have to zoom in on this so we can see it. All right, I've drawn 1 little brick here. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stagger. So I don't wanna have another brick right under it. I wanna have it off to the side just a little bit, okay? And if you can't see that, I'll post a picture of this afterwards. Okay, so I've done a series of 1, 2, 3, 4 bricks, and they're not lined up, okay? So they're, instead of brick, brick, it's brick, brick, okay? And then I'll do another little set of them down here. And you can do these any way you'd like. You can do 2, and then you can come over here and do 3 or 4. Okay, but we're just indicating that this castle is made of brick. All right, let's see. I'm gonna add a window or 2 to this guy here. He looks a little bare. And then I'm just gonna do a couple dots for my stars. And I think we're complete. So, now that you have your Neuschwanstein Castle, if you did it in pencil, what you can do is you can take a marker and you can outline all your lines, and then you can color it in colored pencil or crayon or anything that you have on hand, or you can leave it as is and just keep it as a beautiful drawing. I'm gonna take a photo of this at the end and I'll post it, and I would love you guys to post yours as well If you share them in the comments, that would be fantastic. And because we did Neuschwanstein today, which actually means Neuschwanstein Castle, because King Ludwig, who built Neuschwanstein Castle, loved swans, and he was called the Swan King. So tomorrow, if you tune in, we will actually be drawing a swan in his honor. All right? So have a great day. I hope you enjoyed drawing with me, and we'll see you tomorrow.